If you had to give teams who are getting ready to go on this journey one tip, what would it be? I figure we could each share our favorite tip as we send people on their way with this.
So I think mine is don't get out ahead of your skis. Mm-hmm. It is, I was alluding to this a minute ago, but like it's easy to jump to, let's go build that, or let's go try it. And there are a lot of wasted resources. And so actually, I mean, almost the idea of like, how can we'll use experiment, brainstorm templates sometimes when you're trying to experiment or you're trying to brainstorm what experiment is right. And it's almost like, how do you do that ideation trick where you actually pull back? Like, could I do this cheaper? Could I do this with a lower fidelity prototype? Could I do this in a different way? Like, what are some other options? Because there's always more complicated ways to test something. And then being really clear about how will you know if I have actually proven or disproven the assumption. But starting way back to Molly's first point is just by taking the time to just capture all of your assumptions across the business model. It doesn't have to be this entire like huge exercise. You don't even need a full business model canvas. But at the end of the day, what are the things that are those desirability questions? Like, what will consumers want? Really, who am I adding value for? What really is my value proposition? And a lot of those hows are the things that can come to life. And you can tweak and you can continue to explore or A/B test the different ways of delivering your product. But first and foremost, have you done your due diligence up front? Because if you get ahead of your skis and you start just prototyping or building out something unnecessarily, it's all going to come back to something that you missed up front as a significant opportunity that could have saved you a lot of time, money, and energy.
Yeah. I think to just piggyback on that point, I think where teams often get tripped up with this way of thinking is that it's so exciting to learn so much so quickly that they aren't singularly focused on the assumption they are trying to learn for. So we create a survey, and instead of learning on that one assumption and making sure we're really learning on that assumption, we have all these like halo learnings that we're trying to capture in that survey, which I totally get, because when you have a captured audience, you want to like capitalize on that. But I think really
people often, right? Like,
right. Yeah, totally.
This person, you want to know all the insights.
Right. Absolutely. But I think just making sure you are delivering on that assumption, that riskiest assumption first, is super key in this. And even if that means uncomfortably putting a stake in the ground as to how your idea is going to move forward for this moment in time, do it, because you have to have a way to test against that assumption. Unless it's singularly focused, you really can't do that.